Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list updates. Today's date is Monday, December 18th, 2023. So this will have covered the actually only 6-day period of December 12th through the 17th of 2023, because last week it came out on the 12th. It came out a day later because I was very busy getting home from vacation and all. Anyway, this was definitely a productive overall week, mostly because I did a Platinum Dumpster Dive, the last one of the year, the last one that we'll have for quite a few months going forward, where I got a lot of easy Platinums, but I made progress in other games as well. So first we're going to scroll on back down to Call of Duty Vanguard. So Call of Duty Vanguard, I'm making decent progress in. I still haven't beaten the campaign. I think there's maybe 2 missions left in the campaign until that's done. Veteran hasn't been too bad so far. There's been 1 or 2 trickier areas, but for the most part, Veteran in this game isn't too bad. The blind fire kills, I doubt I'm anywhere even close to that, but at least it's fairly easy. Then let's see, I already had... No, these are new trophies. Okay, so you have to scavenge ammo from 15 corpses within 3 seconds of killing them. This one should come naturally while you're playing through the game if you just pick up ammo quickly. Killing enemies with 15 different weapons is pretty much unmissable because you're going to be jumping between a lot of different weapons throughout the game. Then this one, you can sort of farm it on the mission where you're like the downed pilot when you land in like the Japanese island or whatever. I know that there's a destructible wall there. Can't remember where any other ones are though. Maybe on the Paulina sniper mission, like the second sniper mission when you have to do the whole Last of Us boss fight with the guy at the end. Maybe that one has some. Then let's see, one of these is for watching the credits, and then this one, yeah, throw back 15 grenades. There's an easy way to farm that in an earlier mission. Then let's see, we killed 15 enemies using Wade's focus ability. It's a very useful ability. It's one of the easier of these miscellaneous trophies to get. This one I didn't even think I was going to get as quickly as I did. It kind of just popped at one point. I don't feel like I got 3 kills with 4 different pieces of equipment, but maybe I did and I just didn't really realize. I don't know, I guess I was switching between weapons enough that it must have counted. But yeah, this trophy is pretty easy. There's like throwing knives, gammon bombs, and frag grenades, and like a dynamite or C4 or something I think are the different weapons. Then we get to the level-specific trophies. Of course, we're still missing this one from Phoenix. There was no way I was trying to do this one on Veteran. We're going to be doing that one on Recruit. Then, let's see, Battle of Midway, I wasn't able to get either of these done because I was on Veteran and I was mostly just focusing on trying to beat it. Of course, Duck and Dive is one of the 2 hardest trophies and worst trophies of all in the game, so not looking forward to that. This one's only kind of annoying because the controls are so bad in the plane. It's not like Battlefield quality controls or anything like that, so it's not a great time. But then we finished both trophies in Numa Numa Trail, avoiding getting hit by the sniper and finding Mateo without firing any bullets. Did both of these on Veteran without any major issues. Then Lady Nightingale, this one's fairly easy. Just kill the 5 snipers without being hit because you can just flash up the little light thing or have your ally go out and draw their fire. So that one's fairly easy. This one I was not going for on Veteran. You can do this one on Veteran, but I was not going to make it harder on myself than I needed to. So I'm just going to save that for Recruit. This one is, in my opinion, easier than the other really difficult trophy, but just more time-consuming, more tedious. Then I had the 2 trophies in the Rats of Tobruk. These are both fairly easy. Getting through this without getting detected is really, really easy. I mean, I don't think I died during it. I think I did get alerted like one time and had to restart checkpoint, but it's pretty easy. And then bringing down the Stuka, this is most easily done with a pistol because you can just repeatedly shoot at it over time, but you can get both of these on Veteran. So then this is the penultimate mission of the game, and I did get this trophy because you unlock it literally right at the beginning of the mission, like a minute into it. You just have to get run over by a tank. This one I haven't even gotten to yet. I don't know if we're going to get it on Veteran, but if I have to go back and play it on Recruit, that's totally fine. And then there's 2 trophies in the final level. Hopefully I can get both of them on Veteran on my first try, but we will have to see. Of course, I already had all the multiplayer trophies because they auto-popped. And then I'm making progress on the zombies as well. So sacrificing 13 hearts, I thought this one was supposed to auto-pop once you sacrificed 1, but it doesn't. It's totally fine. It's not a difficult trophy at all. You just have to sacrifice 13 of the hearts to the thing that gives you perks, or not even perks, just like, well, they're kind of perks, just abilities, whatever you want to call them. But sacrificing 13 is pretty easy. You can do that over the course of multiple games, of course. And then you have the Demonic Fountain and the melee from the Frost Blast that I already did. And then we get to the other trophies that I did earn. So remember, in order to get the trophies in this game's Zombies mode, you have to completely disconnect your console from the internet before playing, and then play in a local match alone. That is the only way to get these trophies to unlock on the PS5 version, if you already did the PS4 version. If you already did the PS5 version, like you did the PS5 version first, then you would have the same issues if you went back and did this on the PS4. But the 10 enemies with the energy mine is fairly easy. Same with the Ether Shroud artifact. Those are both fairly easy. Same with the Ring of Fire. Like, none of these are particularly hard. But I did run into weird issues where I would try to use the ability and the game just wouldn't let me. It's like it would start to initiate and then stop, but the meter would stay full. And then it would be like, artifact is not ready. And I can only get it to fix by switching artifacts around. So yeah, some great game design there, whoever made the zombies. I guess it was Sledgehammer. And then you have the two really grindy trophies, 2,500 kills with Pack-a-Punch level 3 and 10,000 kills total. So these trophies are not particularly hard, they're just extremely grindy. Getting a Pack-a-Punch level 3 weapon requires a little over 50,000 points, which is a lot of points, to be honest. It's a lot more maybe than it should have cost. And then you have to get 2,500 kills with it. You can either get the Pack-a-Punched weapon by Pack-a-Punching a weapon 3 times, or you can occasionally get them out of the mystery box or out of the crates on the ground, but that's extremely rare. So basically, you need to farm points in the early rounds as much as possible, and then wait until you have either a harvest or transport, I think, are the two different mission types that are really good for it as the different rifts you can get. So you have to get either harvest or it's like transport or transmit or something like that. The former one is when you have to pick up the runes on the ground and then deposit them into like pyramid things that pop up. Whereas the transit one is you have to like guard a little yellow orb as it flies around the level. And in either of those, you can get infinite enemy spawns if you don't forward the objective, so that's the best way to grind out the 2,500 Pack-a-Punch kills. As soon as you get that weapon, go find one of those levels to do it in and just farm out the kills all at once. It's boring as all hell, but it's much better than the alternative of dying and having to do it again and go through the whole Pack-a-Punch process another time. Because in this game, you don't get points just from damaging zombies like you did in previous games. You only get points for getting kills and stuff like that. So that makes it quite a bit more challenging to rack up a lot of points, so you just want to focus on killing enemies quickly. The combat shotgun is great for that. It works extremely well. It's a one-shot kill for quite a while, and then triple Pack-a-Punch. It's extremely overpowered, so that's a great weapon choice. The 10,000 zombies kills, I have, by my count, about 5,900 right now, so nearly 60% of the way through. I'm probably actually at around 60%. I probably didn't count at least one of my early on runs, but either way, have a long way to go on that, but at least the trophy's easy. It's just very, very grindy. So I'm just going to work on that slowly over the next week or so, and I should have it done fairly soon. So in terms of what's left of the campaign, there would be another stream to go ahead and knock out completing the game on Veteran, and maybe start working on the blind fire, the tactical sprint, and the throwing back grenades, try to work on some of those. And then I can get the Phoenix trophy, isn't too bad. The plane helping during a dogfight isn't too bad. And hopefully these trophies, these last 3 trophies, shouldn't be too much of a problem. It'll mainly just be those last 2, the whole behind you and duck and dive. I would probably do duck and dive first just to get it out of the way, because it gave me so much hell on the PS4 version, whereas the behind you trophy was annoying, but again, it was more time consuming and tedious than it was truly difficult. So yeah, COD Vanguard is coming along. I might have it done by the end of 2023. I would hope that I can, because that's another 2 weeks. So hopefully I can get that done by the end of the year. And then we go on to our Platinum Dumpster Dive, where I did, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So those first 7 games each cost 9 cents. And then Legend of Arado, I can't remember if this and Aquadine were quite as cheap. Those might have been like 25 cents or something. And then Hacko Sand was also 9 cents. So finished a bunch of 9-cent Platinums, and a few of the games were not bad. Some of them were absolutely terrible. So first off, we have Learn Katakana. I did a game like this, Learn Hiragana, earlier on, but didn't realize there was a much easier way to do it. I was trying to play it legitimately while looking at like a list of what all the symbols meant. But what you can literally do with this game is just mash one of the directional buttons, and just keep repeating that over and over again, and eventually you'll hit the correct answer numerous times, and you just repeat that process until you get through all the different letters. There's 46 of them, which is quite a bit, but every single trophy earned is for getting one of those letters, so just keep mashing the same button on the directional pad, and sometimes you'll be right, most of the time you'll be wrong, but by doing that quickly, you'll get all of the trophies within about 5 minutes. Just note that you also have to hit X every time that you run out of lives, because then you just have to restart. But your progress on letters that you've learned, your trophy progress obviously doesn't change. So very simple, very quick that way. It takes, 5 minutes if you're just doing the button mashing method. I would definitely recommend doing that. Then we have Pump Press. This game was kind of strange, but not too bad overall, actually. It wasn't that bad. So these trophy lists are very similar to East Asia Soft in terms of there's like 3 or 4 specific actions you have to do, and you have to do each of them a certain number of times for multiple trophies. So in this case, you're basically like a Dig Dug type character, and you're running from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, and you have to shoot these things that come at you to open them up so that you can pass through them. And if you don't shoot it, you die. It's kind of weird, kind of hard to explain. It's not that terrible of a game, though. It's better than some of the other ones I played, because at least it's a kind of a unique concept, I guess you could say. But you have to pump 100 enemies, so that means hit 100 of the enemies with your little pumping gun thing. So let's see, it took me about... How long did this game take me? 8:37 was first trophy. So this game took me about 6 minutes, and I could have done it faster had I known what I was doing. Then you have to pump 20 enemies with a single press. For this one, what you have to do is you have to get a bunch of those things following you by shooting them once or twice, but not shooting them enough times to blow them up. And then, as you move on, you'll eventually see these little silver balls that you can shoot at, and when you shoot those, it'll like fly behind you and kill all the enemies following you. That's how you rack up a lot of points. So that's really all you have to do to get the 20 kills at once. Just, save it for a little while, don't hit it immediately, and you should be fine. You have to survive for a total of 60 seconds in a single game, which is quite easy because you can basically button mash on that one because you don't really care about points on that kind of a run. You're just trying to stay alive. And then getting 500 points is also fairly easy. Basically, you just have to get several times where you have a bunch of those things following you, shoot the silver thing to blow them all up, you'll get lots of points. It's nothing too bad. Like I said, this wasn't too bad of a game compared to some of the other ones we played. Next up was DLaser. So this game was kind of strange as well, but it wasn't terrible. Basically, you're controlling a little character. Every time you hit X, you will reverse direction, running from left to right across the screen, and you can hold X to stay in place, but you'll slowly fall down. If you fall off the screen, you die and have to restart. And constantly lasers will shoot down from the sky at you, and if you get hit by them, you get knocked down quite a ways. That's how you'll usually end up dying. But you can avoid them by hiding under falling platforms, and that's the whole gimmick of the game. So you have to avoid 25 total laser barrages, which is pretty easy overall. Then the 5 laser hits in a single life for this one. Basically, you want to try to... If you ever get hit, you want to just immediately go into cover, like as soon as that happens. You'll probably get this one naturally, though, because it's fairly easy to do. This one, you basically just have to let yourself run across the screen a few times. You're probably going to end up failing on this run, but just don't hit any buttons, and you'll just kind of run back and forth across before the laser falls, and you should be fine. Then get hit by the laser 15 times is pretty self-explanatory. No way you're missing this one. You have to survive a total of 60 seconds, which really isn't too bad in this game once you understand how it works. And then you have to get 3,000 points in a single run, which is a little bit trickier because you get points every time you successfully avoid the lasers, but it's anywhere from 50-ish points to 200 or so, so it can take quite a few dodges to get all the way there, but nothing too bad here. So let's see, 847... Oh no, 846 was the first trophy, and so this game took me about 7 minutes. I could have done it faster had I known what I was doing, so it wasn't really too bad overall. Again, not bad compared to the next 2 games that we did, or, no wait, well, these 2 were annoying, this one was hell. We'll get to that in a second. Thunder, this game, basically you have thunder strikes that come down, or lightning strikes that come down and try to hit you, and it branches off into 20 different little individual lightning pieces at the end, and only one of them has the actual concentrated beam, but I seriously think it's kind of random. I think that there's probably like a certain way to figure it out, but I really think it's random because sometimes it looked like I was following it correctly and it would just pop out of a different one. And then once the lightning hits the ground, it spawns these little yellow power-ups that you can pick up, and your only button is X again to run back and forth, left and right across the screen. So you have to survive a single round for 2 minutes, which is a little bit trickier just because, again, it just feels kind of random sometimes, even if it feels like you should be doing well. You have to collect a total of 250 sparks, which is very easy and will be done along the way to one of the later trophies. You have to die 10 total times, which is also probably going to come naturally. And you have to get a score of 1,000 points in a single game. So let's see, that was not my... Yeah, the 2-minute trophy was my last trophy, but I probably got that on the same run as the 1,000 points. So 1,000 points is a bit high. You have to pick up quite a few of the little yellow things. I would recommend focusing more on the 1,000 points in one run and then the surviving the storm in another run and just like stay far away from everything. So this one has a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of getting used to, and a little bit of randomness to it, but it's nothing too terribly hard overall. It looks like it took me 8:54 p.m. to 9:07, so this one took me about 13 minutes, but you can definitely do it faster than that. But it was definitely a little bit of a step up in difficulty from the previous ones. Bomb Up, same thing. It's still higher difficulty than the earlier games we did, but definitely not the worst one we did. So with this game, basically, you hit the X button to drop a bomb, and you hit the X button again to detonate the bomb, and you're basically falling down a shaft and having to destroy these boxes that land all around you. But a lot of the time, even if you detonate the bombs, they won't actually go off and blow up the target. And then at other times, you'll blast yourself so far up into the sky that you'll get hit by a random falling block that you had no chance of dodging because you can't control your left and right movement. You can only control the bombs. So you have to destroy a total of 500 enemies, which actually is quite a bit. It's one of the rarer trophies in the game, but it's not too difficult. You have to destroy 10 enemies with a single bomb. This one's basically unmissable while you're going for the score. You only have to survive for 15 seconds in this one, which is really not that bad at all. Thankfully, if there had been like a 30-second trophy, this platinum would have been a lot harder. And then you have to drop a total of 250 bombs, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't, this could potentially be your last trophy if you're good at the game. And you have to score 500 points in a single round, which is not easy because, like, everything that you destroy gives you points, and the more that you destroy at once, the more points you get. But again, this game is really random with how easy it is to kill yourself. So, or to be killed by a random falling block that you had no chance of dodging. So just be a little bit careful with this one. It's not as easy as some of these other ones, but it's still not the hardest one I played that night. So let's see, 9:08 p.m. was the first trophy and 9:21. So this one took me about 13 minutes, it looks like. Yeah, about 13 minutes to get through this one. But again, you could do it faster if you got a little bit luckier or were maybe a little bit better at the game. Then we have Marcys Adventures. This one, I think this was a 9-cent game, but I'm not 100% sure. This one I think was made by a different company though than those other games we already played. So every single trophy is tied to finishing a level. The game has 15 levels and you have to finish all 15 of them to get the platinum trophy. Now this is very easy overall. It's basically a 2D platformer type game. The controls can be a little janky on a few levels, but there's nothing overwhelmingly difficult about this game at all. It's just might take a little bit of practice on a few of the levels. Like a few of the levels are a little bit harder, but it's nothing too much to worry about. As you can see, I got the platinum in about 18 minutes, but you could definitely do it a little bit faster if you're a little bit better at the game than I am. I'm not the best at 2D platformers, but it wasn't anything too bad. BCAN, this one really pissed me off. And you can actually see by the platinum percentage, this one is nowhere near as common. It's only about an 80% on PSN profiles, whereas all the other ones are over 90%. Oh, wow, I just looked at that and they accidentally typed a B, an extra B at the end of that. So that shows the quality of the development cycle of these kind of games. So yeah, that's very interesting. That's kind of sad, actually. So for this game, you're basically running around a box. And every time you hit the X, you reverse direction. And then there's like, if you hold the X button, you shoot out a laser beam. Because your goal is to blow up these like yellow balls that fly around in sort of an asteroids type gameplay. But this game is absolute trash because it literally doesn't work well. Because sometimes you will fire the laser and it'll just completely miss everything, even if there's only like one target left and you're close to it. Sometimes your character will not reverse direction when you tell them to. Sometimes you will die from like a single pixel hitting one of the yellow balls. So this one is a hell of a lot harder than I expected it to be, and it's definitely the hardest one I did on that night, because it's a broken game. It's not a good game. It's very broken, and as you can see, it took me the better part of an hour to get the Platinum Trophy. It took me well over 30 minutes, and that was probably not that bad of a time because I just kept getting unlucky at times. So surviving for 2 minutes is a little tough, but it's nothing too awful compared to one of the later trophies, because with this one you can kind of just not even shoot at anything, or you can just shoot the big ball a couple of times to knock it down into some smaller balls, and then just basically run circles around it until you hit the 2 minutes, so it's actually not that hard to do. Then 15 ring pieces on the screen at the same time should happen naturally while you're going for the scores. That's just gets very, very chaotic, as you might expect. Destroy 200 total is unmissable while going for the scores because you're going to take several tries to get it. And then you have to get 500 points in a single game, which is a god-awful trophy. It is so random. It is so luck-based. It is so broken. I would definitely suggest going and checking out the stream, or eventually there will be a Platinum Trophy video with all the stream highlights and everything of just how horrible this game experience was. That was the most pissed off I've been at a game since probably Far Cry 6's DLC, like over 6 months ago was the last time I got that pissed off at a game. So yeah, definitely skipped this one. It is not worth 9 cents, and it is not worth the hassle that it provides. Next up, we have the North American PS4 and PS5 versions of Legend of Arado Bundle. This is a visual novel game. So, as with most visual novel games, this one is very easy. This one took me about 8 minutes, but I think I did the other version faster. So basically, all you have to do in this one is make specific choices. You're going to have to play through the first game several times, like 3 total times, making specific choices as to which characters you choose and mutually exclusive decisions. So that's really all you have to do, though. And then you have to do the second game as well, which is, I think you only need 1 playthrough of that, but you have to make a save like midway through your playthrough. And I think that's really about all you have to do. So it's real simple. Just like I said, make a save during your playthrough of the second game so you can clean up the trophies faster, and then just make specific decisions on a few playthroughs of the first game, and then you're basically good to go. And it's a visual novel game, so as usual, it's pretty easy. These games actually had a whole lot of dialogue in them, like more so than I was expecting for this kind of a cheapo visual novel title. And the other version took me 7 minutes, so about 7 minutes. You probably can't do it too much faster than that. Next up, we have Aquadine. This was another visual novel game that I did. I can't remember if this was a Ratalaika one or this might have been a Game Azumi one, actually. So once again with this one, you just have to make specific dialogue choices, and there's maybe like 1 time where you have to make a save and reload it to clean up other trophies. But really, once again, all it is just follow a trophy guide, either a video guide or a text guide, and you'll get all your trophies within like 5 to 6 minutes. You can set the text skip and everything to the highest possible rate, and that's really all you have to do. Like I said, I try not to do these games too often, but when you're on a Platinum Dumpster Dive, you're on a Platinum Dumpster Dive. You do some low-quality games for sure. And then the final game I did during the Platinum Dumpster Dive was Hacko Sand. This is one that I've been holding on to for a long time. I was initially going to make it into its own video of a 9-cent Platinum, but then they made all those other 9-cent Platinum games come out, so I figured I'd just include this one with it. This game is super, super easy. All you have to do is beat 50 levels and use a hint. But here's the thing. If you hit whatever the hint button is on any level, it shows you the exact solution. You're basically using the D-pad to move a series of characters around to... Basically, it's like a block sliding puzzle, but you're sliding multiple things at once, if that makes any sense. So you just have to complete 50 levels and use a hint at least once, which you should be using a hint on every single level because it tells you the exact set of moves to win. And that allows you to get this Platinum Trophy done in about 5 to 6 minutes. It's that simple. I mean, it's another... I guess it's not that bad of a puzzle game overall because that kind of puzzle seems like it could be kind of tricky. But I just find it hilarious that they literally give you the solutions by hitting the hint button and there's no penalty or anything for it, so it makes the Platinum Trophy super easy. So yeah, that was it for the Platinum Dumpster Dive. Like I said, it's the last one I'm going to be doing for quite a while because I want to put some better Platinums on the list. I mean, I do these a couple times a year now, or like 3 times a year now, but I still do other easy games here and there with it. And then the game that I spent the bulk of my time on this week was Fallout 76. I have gotten it back up to 100% with the completion of the Atlantic City DLC. This is probably the shortest and easiest overall DLC that we've gotten because Wastelanders could take like over 40 or 50 hours because there was so much you had to do to get to be an ally with each settlement. It just took absolutely forever. Like, there was a fairly easy way to farm it and kind of cheat it with the crater, but with Foundation there wasn't a way to speed it up, so you had to do daily quests for like 60 or 70 days to do it, so it's a lot of work. And then you also had to complete the DLC twice, because you had 2 mutually exclusive trophies here, and there's no way to save the game and then just go make a different choice like you can in earlier Fallout games. So you have to get another character all the way to level 20 and then play this entire DLC a second time to side with the other faction. So great game design there. Steel Rain isn't as bad. This is like a 5 to 10 hour DLC, provided you already completed Steel Dawn previously. If you didn't complete Steel Dawn, you have to complete that first, but it's just some story missions. So for here, you just have to complete the 5 new story missions, which is easy enough. You have to craft some legendary mods, which is easy if you have the materials for it, which you can get just by playing like daily events and stuff. And then you have to earn an Elder Reward from a daily op, which I think meant you had to beat it in under like 8 minutes or maybe under 12 minutes. It could be a little bit tricky, but if you had someone to play it with, like at least one other decent player, it wasn't too bad. So nothing much to worry about with Steel Rain. It was shorter, like I said. The Pit. So this one has apparently gotten a hell of a lot harder than it was. So you have your trophy for finishing the 2 expeditions, each of which on your first playthrough are going to take like 45 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. So they are fairly long missions, but they give you good rewards and XP, so it's not that bad of a thing. Completing the 10 favors, I think you can complete 1 favor a day per character, so probably 10 days to get this trophy, which isn't too bad. But this trophy has gotten significantly harder because of the way you have to unlock the auto axe. It used to be that you got it during the season where this game came out, or where this DLC came out. You could unlock the plans for the auto axe once you hit maybe like level 15 to 20 within the season, which was a bit grindy, but nothing overly difficult by any means or overly time consuming. So, I mean, it took me about 10 days to get all the trophies in this DLC of fairly constant play. So at that time, that was the easy way to do it, and then you got the auto axe, and then you were good to go. But the problem is that it's a lot harder to unlock the auto axe now, because I think the only way to get it is by spending stamps, and those stamps can take quite a while to farm, so this trophy has gotten quite a bit harder than it once was, or at least a lot more time-consuming and annoying than it once was. So do keep that in mind. If you're starting the game now from scratch, you're going to be in for a rough ride on the Pit DLC, specifically because of this trophy. Oh boy, I got it added by a spam bot on Snapchat, and these accounts are so clearly fake, and I don't even know why Snapchat allows them to be on here, but it's just really, really dumb. So let me just get rid of this account real quick. Just like how I've gotten followed by so many spam accounts recently on like X and Instagram or Twitter. I mean, I'm going to always call it Twitter. Anyway, Atlantic City, though, this is where the majority of everything I was doing this week was in. This DLC is pretty easy overall. It's definitely easier than the other DLCs and much shorter. Basically, what you have to do is you have to complete the 2 new expeditions, but these expeditions are a lot shorter. Like, these can be completed in 20 to 30 minutes on your first playthrough, and on future playthroughs, once you know what to do, you can probably knock that down to 15, maybe 20 minutes at most. So it's a much, much shorter pair of expeditions this time around. Then you have to kill 10 lesser devils with a melee weapon. This is a very difficult type of enemy based on the Jersey Devil. They only appear at the very beginning of tax evasion, and only 2 of them spawn per playthrough, but what you can do is you can kill the 2 of them with a melee weapon, you can pause the game, fast travel back to anywhere in the main Appalachia, and then just start a new expedition on the same site and repeat that process until you get it knocked out. You can do the whole trophy in under an hour that way, so it's nothing too bad. They also changed the fuel requirements to where you no longer need to fuel up the vertibird before each expedition, which makes life much, much easier, because that cuts down on a lot of time, because you don't have to do daily quests to fill up the battery every day. It makes it just take a lot less time than it would have. Then the 5 Casino Games trophy, this one's actually not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Basically, with this one, you have to build 5 casino games in your camp, but you can build the same casino game 5 times. So you only need to unlock one plan. And to get the plans, the cheapest one is 70 stamps, which you can get from about 4 complete playthroughs of the expeditions, of at least tax evasion, like 4 playthroughs of it where you're the squad leader. You should be able to get enough stamps to get the plans for this as long as you're doing the optional objectives. So like hour and a half to get enough stamps if you didn't already have any in your possession. If you already had some, it's going to cut down on your grind. Then just buy one of the items that cost 70 stamps and build 5 of them in your camp, and you are good to go with this trophy. So yeah, that one is actually nowhere near as bad as I was worried that it might be. I thought you were going to have to buy and build like 5 different types of games, so we'll see if they change the trophy requirement later. But otherwise, it looks like the regular game Platinum Trophy has gotten up to 1%, so that's actually higher than it has been in the past. So it's still just a lot of story trophies, like a quarter of the trophy list is just story-related trophies, build stuff in your camp, complete certain side missions and event quests. Scorched Earth is up to 14%, which is insane. I mean, it's actually way more common than some of the other ones because people will just join in on the Scorched Earth event whenever it occurs. People don't farm that one as much, though. They like to farm the Sheep Squatch more at this point. I think you get better rewards from that. You still have your multiplayer trophies, like joining 20 teams, which is still pretty easy. You have to craft armor and weapons, level up, which is still super grindy, but it's probably a little bit faster now than it was because the expeditions can level you up really quickly, especially the pit one. Read magazines. This trophy, I think, might be kind of bugged from what I remember, but it's been a long time since I went for it. Rank up perks. Do a lot of your typical Fallout trophies. The Platinum Trophy for this game is not particularly hard. It's just really, really time-consuming with having to reach level 100. So it takes time, but it's not too difficult overall. So yeah, that is all of my trophy progress this week. Quite a bit of progress. This is going to be a fairly long update, which is kind of to be expected. So let's go ahead and sync up. Alright, with that, level 855, 89%, 27,513 total trophies, 784 platinums, 5,195 golds, 7,349 silvers, 14,185 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week, and with it pretty much the rest of 2023. So for the rest of the year, the main focus, really for the rest of the month especially, and just really the rest of the year with it, is to finish up Call of Duty Vanguard on the PS5. I think I can get it done by the end of the year. I should be able to, unless I get distracted with something else. So that is the only major plan when it comes to trophies. Get another Call of Duty game out of the way, which, ironically, I think that version of Vanguard is like the 3rd most common Call of Duty Platinum out there at this point, or maybe 4th most common. It's one of the most common, though, which is... I don't really know why. I guess it's maybe because the multiplayer auto pops or something, but I'm kind of surprised at some of the ones that it's more common than. I think it's more common than Modern Warfare 2019, which is a much faster and easier platinum. Either way, though, that is the main focus, and then when we get into January and beyond, you got stuff like GTA 5, Shadow of the Colossus, and Outer Worlds that I always mention, and of course all that Modern Warfare 3 BS that we have to deal with. Not looking forward to any of that. Though for the rest of the year, there are going to be a few more games that I really want to play because, first of all, we are getting Thrillville and Thrillville Off the Rails through the PlayStation streaming service on Tuesday, I think, so the day after this goes up. And I played the crap out of that game when I was a children, at least the first one. I didn't really play the second one as much. So I cannot wait for the chance to play that game again because I absolutely love it. It was my Roller Coaster Tycoon when I was a kid because I could never get a working version of Roller Coaster Tycoon because I never really had a good computer for it or anything. So I cannot wait for that. I'm going to be surprised if it gets trophies, but even if it doesn't, I'm definitely going to play it and maybe even stream it because that would just be a whole lot of fun. I would love the chance to play that. And the second game, I never came anywhere like close to beating it back in the day, or at least maybe I did, but it was a long time ago. I don't even still have my copy of it for the Wii. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to play. And then at the end of this week, Choo Choo Charles releases on console. Now, I am going to play that when it comes out, maybe on day 1, I don't know yet. But I'm most likely not going to play it on my main account because... if the trophy list is the same as the Steam achievement list, the Platinum Trophy will be fairly easy, like a 3 out of 10 in 5-ish hours, 5 to 6 hours. The problem is that it has a DLC achievement that would presumably be a DLC trophy for finishing Nightmare mode, and apparently that mode is absolutely freaking brutal. So yeah, I think I'll probably just play it on an alt account for now, and eventually, if people can come up with strategies for it, play it on my main account. But yeah, so quite a few big games coming this week that I'm really excited for. But otherwise, the main focus is just trying to finish COD Vanguard. I will be getting on Fallout 76 some more as I try to fine-tune a guide that me and another guy are working on for the DLC. Hopefully that'll be out within the next week, like by the end of this week. And in terms of videos, the Killzone Liberation video is coming along very well. I'm fairly close to finishing the initial edits of it and the script, which I'll then have to record and edit in. So I'm hoping to have it come out right around Christmas. And then the next Fallout video will come out sometime after that. I'll start working on it, or continue working on it more once I finish the Killzone video, as well as start editing together a few vlogs from Aruba. But I'm going to do multiple days per vlog, so it's fewer videos but longer videos. I think that'll work a little bit better because I didn't vlog quite as much this year as I did in the past, because there were a lot of similarities and it was just a lot of just needing to rest and take in the enjoyment and the moment of being down there. So yeah. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave me a like. If you made it all the way to the end, you should definitely be subscribing for more content like this and ringing the bell for those notifications. Let me know down in the comments what y'all have been working on over the past week or two. And in terms of schedule for this week, that's actually one other thing I need to bring up, is that I'm going to be going home on Friday morning, and I'm going to be at home from then until probably the day before New Year's. Like maybe the 30th, or maybe even New Year's Eve is the day I'm going to drive back down here, because I get Christmas Day off and Christmas Eve off, which ended up translating to Friday and Monday of this coming weekend, and then I'm just taking that whole week off to use up the vacation time that I couldn't carry over. So yeah, I'm going to be at home, which I should now have good enough internet at home, though, to do some sort of stream, but we will have to see. So yeah, that's it for this update. Thank you guys for watching. See y'all later this week for some more trophy content.